What's up, guys? Paul here. I wanted to hop on here and talk most recently about my attempt on this past Sunday to do a 16-mile run. Like I said in one of the last videos that I did, I am currently training for a marathon for November 15th, and the program that I'm following to train for this marathon is the Stu Middleton 12-week running program. And so this past week, my long run was supposed to be 16 miles long. And I wanted to talk about that because I failed on it, and I wasn't able to do it, but I learned a lot about my mind in it, and I learned a lot about why I failed. Also, I'm going to talk about these past couple days following that failure of a run and kind of what I'm doing now. So Sunday was, today's the 15th. So yeah, it was just a couple days ago, and I believe it was the 11th. And I woke up that day knowing, I was like, okay, today I have a 16-mile run. And just to give you like a little bit of background, previously I had done a 9-mile, and that was 2 weeks ago, and I did that no problem. And then I did a 12-mile with a per mile pace of 1 minute faster than I did my 9-mile the week before. And so, this past week I was supposed to do 16. And so the difference for me though was going, okay, I'm going to be running for, almost 3 hours here, between 2.5 and 3 hours, kind of depending on how fast I go, or how slow maybe for some of you guys that I go. It'll be somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours. And I was just like, my goodness, that's a long time to do the same thing. Just running, just doing the same thing over. And so I woke up feeling intimidated. That is true. I woke up feeling intimidated. Now, I feel like nutrition-wise and hydration-wise, I actually did a good job. I did a better job for this one than I did for the other two. And in the past, I knew that I would be getting hungry. So, I planned like a little 2-minute break in this run that I could, have a banana and get some hydration in and whatnot. But to get to the start of the run now, I'll say this. Something that I noticed in my mind that was going on, and I was beat from the second that I took my first step. I couldn't shut my brain off. I could not shut my brain off. I did a slow pace on my first mile solely to conserve energy, because I knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to repeat this 15 more times. And that thought alone, when I went slow, because sometimes if you can start a race going faster than intended, and I'm still learning how to control my own pace and whatnot. But the thought after I finished that first mile of, okay, 15 more of these, I could not shut my brain off. I could not stop thinking about the 2.5 to 3 hours from now. I couldn't stay in the moment. All the other runs that I've done, I've been able to stay in the moment. All the other runs that I've done, I've said, okay, this may be difficult, but it's doable, and I've looked forward to it, and there's been a lot of excitement and whatnot. And so I'll explain now the process of this run. So I only ran 9 out of the 16 miles. I took a break at the 7-mile mark because I wanted some banana, and I wanted some water as well. And something that my brain did was I started thinking about my knees. I started thinking about my hips. I started thinking about, oh man, my feet right now. I felt like they were soaking in sweat way more than normal. And I was like, oh man, that might not be good if I do 9 more miles like this, because what blisters might form on it? What blisters might form on my feet? Oh, maybe I should, run 4 more miles or a couple more miles and then change my shoes, because that'll give me a little break too. And that way I don't have to technically run just all this time straight, and whatnot. And every single thing that I started doing, I started thinking about ways that I could take a break, ways that I could stop, ways that I wouldn't have to finish and whatnot. And so when I went back and I started on mile 8, I was like, okay, I was thinking about timing that I have to run and all this stuff. And I was able to, for a little bit, get present. Once I finished mile 8, my brain started screaming again. And, when I look back on this and I think about it, I'm like, I've run since a couple weeks ago, that 9-mile run. I've run multiple 8-mile runs. I've done a couple 10-mile runs. Like I've run more than what I did on Sunday. Yet for some reason, mile 9 was my breaking point. I felt like I was going to pass out, and looking back, was I? I don't know. I probably doubt it, but it definitely sure felt like it. Just everything. I started thinking about everything. I was thinking about, like after I finished mile 9, I was like 7 more miles. Oh, that's over an hour. That over an hour left to run and, whatnot. Oh, this is another good point that I was thinking of. The NBA Finals game was on that night as well, and I believe it was Game 5. And something that was pissing me off during my run was I was looking more forward to watching the NBA Finals game than I was to completing a thing that I've never done before. Completing a thing that would be in a very, very impressive accomplishment for myself. I started running on August 23rd, and for me, it would be, less than 2 months later, I actually completed a 16-mile run. Like, what? This is crazy. For me, doing the 9-mile run was awesome. For me, doing the 12-mile run was awesome. And the fact that these are part of my normal runs now, I have to be proud of that, because I don't want to be too difficult on myself right now, because these are things that I, haven't really thought of before. And during the run, I just kept thinking about watching basketball. And it actually pissed me off, because I was like, man, I don't like the fact, and this is for me, I'm not putting this judgment on you, but for me, I was like, how can you be more excited for someone else's life and what they're doing than your current goals that you're working on? Like, it bothered me so bad that I was not more excited to do something that I've never done before and then just watch, another game in the NBA Finals. So I had to work through that as well and think about that. But I feel like I learned a lot about my brain on this attempted 16-mile run. And, it's actually kind of fascinating what it did to me the next couple of days, though. I'll be honest on that, too. So Monday and Tuesday, because one thing I did was, okay, I'll make up the 7-mile run on Monday. I'll do the difference, that way it's still 16 miles, but okay, great, a day later, even though it's not the same thing at all. Well, part of being human, and this is what I did, I didn't run Monday or Tuesday. I took Monday as a rest day, and then I worked out on Tuesday. I came back here, out here, and I did a leg workout. I was like, well, if I don't run today, maybe I could get some work in on my legs and just do a workout out here. And that's what I did. And that's great. I was active and whatnot, but that's not part of the training plan. My brain specifically put off the running. I guess because I continued to feel intimidated by it. And, yesterday, it was just interesting because I was supposed to have a 10-mile, and I was dreading it all day. I was dreading it because I knew I was not going to put it off again. I was dreading it, absolutely. And this actually really started to bother me, because I was like, okay, I'm starting to ramp up my training now. I'm about a month away. I can't start dreading all of these runs. Like, I'm going to be doing this. There's no way I can go into all these runs dreading it, because I was even thinking about 4 miles, and I was like, I just don't want to run. And so I started realizing how it was leaking over into a bad relationship with training. And so one thing that I did yesterday was, there's a little trail that we have that would be about 3 to 3.5 miles until I could go out and be on a prairie and, just kind of look at nature and whatnot. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to track this rate. I'm not going to track this run. I'm not going to have my phone with me looking at how fast I'm going per mile or anything like that. I just need to get back to the basics of what Stu talks about, really, and enjoy this run. I want this run to be more spiritual. I want this run to be more in the moment. I need to enjoy this run if I'm going to be doing this training well. This is a very, very important run that I need to do. It'll still be between 6.5 and 7 miles. Like I said, I didn't track it, but I knew relatively because of the runs before that. And you know what I'm going to do? Once I get to the end at 3.5 miles, I'm going to sit out there and just enjoy time with God and just enjoy the nature. And so that's exactly what I decided to do. And I really did enjoy that the first half of it. I sat out there for about 30 or 40 minutes just enjoying it. And then I actually had a pretty good or very good run on the way back. But I wanted to record this video just to talk about the honesty in my mind of what's going on in this training. That was my first major hiccup. I would call minor hiccups as, maybe putting off a day or switching days for types of runs, just depending on how I feel. But that was my major one that I was like, man, I messed up there. And then it carried beyond the 24-hour mark. It didn't just affect that training. It affected the next couple ones. So doing yesterday's run was really important for me. But again, I'll be doing more of these updates as we get closer and closer. It's October 15th right now, and so that means we're exactly at 1 month away from the marathon. And so yeah, I will keep you guys posted on how the runs continue to go. Next week I will be up in Iowa training there, and it's supposed to be in the 40s and 50s, so I'm curious on how that's going to affect me and on how the long runs will be there. I am looking forward to getting out of the heat and the humidity, though, here in Florida. So I guess until next one, I'll see you guys.